drinking some Lipton tea. And Zot's going to be
I'll be replacing him today.
replacing him for the rest of the day. Already, we do see some very standard bans, Zed, Malphite, Kog'Maw off the table. And for the opposing team, Nidalee, one of the most common bans, but Talon and Victor maybe not so common. Lee Sin picked up right away for Fadeaway. And now we're all caught up in the pick and ban. Lux being picked up, which is also a pretty good
Yeah,
pick as
Lux
well.
Lux has been quite a frequent pick in solo queue these days. I think it's the highest win rate mid, and Talon and Zed being banned because of the new item, which is has seen a lot of play recently these days. Once you see like once they get that item, it's just snowball from there.
hmm And I don't know why Victor was banned out, but Phantom did play it last game, so maybe it's something that he's comfortable on. So definitely a targeted pick. Govlove played Leona last time we saw, and not bad. A little bit of a premature ejaculatory ult, but not nothing too bad. I think that if they find their momentum, they'll play very well, but we'll have to see. Rek'Sai being picked up, pretty good pick, I think. Against Lee Sin or against kind of like roaming teams, but we'll see what Hallucinateer picks up because this guy does not care about the meta. And I think if he locks that in, Jackson is gonna regret. Okay, no, he's not. He was about to pick a Mumu top, so like I was
Hallucinateer,
looking out. I was
he's a
looking
big.
out.
I know he's a big player of like champions. Like people just use Devour like Udyr, Aatrox, Master Yi, just those kind of guys. But it seems like on purple team they have like a lot of map pressure with the Lux is taking teleport looks like, and Rek'Sai has teleport as well in his
Mm,
ultimate.
Okay, Rengar being picked up by Hallucinateer. I would have liked to see him on something a little bit more tankier, but we'll see how that pans out for him. Lucian being picked up, Janna going to be in combination with that bot lane, and I think that that's going to be pretty good for Lucian, depending on what they pick up here. Tom Kench. Wait, whoa. They don't really have a mid lane, at least not yet.
Well, Corki has been being seen a little bit of mid play recently.
But then, like, what's the bot lane?
Um, yeah, I'm stumped as well. Maybe they just said, oh, they
Okay.
locked it in, so maybe they just said
Okay.
YOLO.
All right. Here we go. Here's what's gonna happen. I'm telling you right now. Phantom is their mid laner. Nike Duff played 80 carry last time, but he's got TP, so I'm assuming he's top lane, and it's probably Rengar Leona bot lane. That's probably what it is. I think you missed out on a real gem here, Jackson. Lee Sin obviously in the jungle, but I mean we'll see. Um, I love this team already. By the way, this is like I wish this team would make it out of groups, but we'll see what happens.
Looks like they're like if you pick a team like that with like four melee champions and you're playing against Janna, you're basically gonna have a bad day. Like Janna will just make you wish you never entered. Like she just makes playing melee champions a nightmare,
Ooh, and then
especially with the Gnar pick that kites people so well too.
I like last game. It was pretty clear cut for HAL 9000 to lose. It was pretty clear cut. It was very obvious that, I mean, Wild Mimo had trouble closing out the game, but that was because this blue team is really annoying. I understand what you're saying with Janna being super difficult for this team to engage upon. Lux with the CC will also be really difficult. Gnar, Rek'Sai. It's just overall not a fun time. But this blue team knows how to be annoying. They know what they're doing to some extent. But we don't know how good this insert name team here is. Insert name here team is, right? Like we don't like we I've seen this blue team play, but I have yet to see this purple team play. But I have seen the name insert name here, and I have seen the name Soang, and I have seen the name Bracy. Um, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how these guys play out. We will be heading into the game in 3 minutes. Talk to me about the win conditions for both teams.
Okay, so basically the win condition for both teams is blue team can win their fights if they get the initiate first. Um, on purple team, but if purple team gets like if Lux gets a binding on like Corki, then and Corki's not taking cleanse, but he could get a Mercurial Scepter afterwards. But yeah, if Lux can like insta give anybody beforehand before blue team could initiate, then they've already won the fight there. Um, but it's gonna be really hard for blue team to initiate anyways on purple team because Janna has the ultimate, and
hmm
Yeah, like I guess blue team just has to snowball whatever lead they're getting. They have like a lot of early pressure, it looks like.
I really don't know what's going on this team. I think they're just having a little bit of fun. That's what
Yeah.
it looks like. Um, they might have lost a couple of their games. So,
If
um,
if I remember correctly, their first game went something like 3-16 or something like disastrous like that.
why yikes. Um, I wonder what team would be better as far as grouping is concerned, or what team is looking to pick people off. I think this team is the purple team is a little bit more focused on team fighting because they have Gnar. As soon as you have Gnar, you're kind of looking to team fight.
Yeah.
But the blue team's definitely looking to pick people off. I just want to take a look at the bracket if it's possible. If I can find the bracket, here we go. So Team HAL 9000 is currently 0-2. They're up against InsertNameHere, who's actually 2-0. So this might be a little bit of a stop.
Just relatively unlucky, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the bottom of the ladder, the bottom of the group is playing against the top of the group right now.
hmm
You know, uh, sometimes Rengar just gets insane though. I mean, there's a little bit of hope in that. I know Hallucinateur is like a big Rengar player sometimes.
hmm
He really knows how to read people and like their pathing and stuff like that, so he could catch people off in the jungle perhaps. Um, yeah, it's just
Ooh. We also just to give you guys a little bit of quick update on the other brackets. Team JJ, one of the captains, currently at one win in his group. Dragon Raider is currently at a loss in his group. I see Team Marker, a familiar name, currently 1-0. Team Asian Gone Wild has lost a game. The group that we're in right now, Group C, insert name here in a Wild Memo at the top of the standings. Team Wrath, who has been a two-time solo queue legend champion, is currently 1-1 in his group. Hopefully, he'll be able to get a win against a Wild Mimo, and that'll put him at the top of the standings. Um, and then for Group D, we have surprisingly a bot team that's at the top. Team Bender, Bending, Rodriguez. I think that's a bot team. They're doing fairly well for themselves, so we'll see how that pans out. But just to give you guys a little bit of an update on the brackets, if you want to see the bracket, you can go to the event page and it'll just be there. It's on
yeah.
Challenge, I believe. We are heading into the game fairly shortly. We are in the loading screen right now. Who did you give this game to, just on paper?
Um, I'm going to give the game. I'm gonna have to give the game to Team Insert Name here, which is Red Team.
hmm Interesting that you say that. Well, I'm for starters, I'm personally waiting for where this Rengar goes. Where is this guy going? I think he's going to be going to the ball lane. I mean, Tom Kench is already walking up there. Nick Duff, Nike Duff, whatever he prefers to go by, played 80 carry last time, and he did the least amount of damage on his team. He was absolutely a non-threat, but that also is to say that he, got the jump onto Janna. Um, ooh, okay. Great invade though. They're not going to be able to get the vision on the opposing side. Gnar and Rek'Sai are kind of just standing still. Now, what this Rengar did last game, a Wild Mule started blue. Fadeaway was on Elise, started red side on the bottom. And Hallucinateur he took red. So they had a 3-buff start against a Wild Mimo.
It's interesting that with a team that's trying to snowball the early lead as much as possible, that they didn't take any ignite and they didn't even take any heal either. They
Mm.
took barrier, like they're like with
Defensive, very defensive.
their. I guess they could try to go for like some insane Leona Lee Sin wombo, but I mean, if you're trying to play passive, I feel like that's playing insert name here's game. Like they win by that because they can just
That's how he
yeah
plays,
they can
right?
just
That's how
keep
he
kiting
plays,
back
yeah.
with Janna, and then whenever they get a Lux pick, they just keep taking Lux damage, and then they just lose like that. They don't have any siege either because they have four. They have four melee champions,
Yeah.
and Janna can shield their tower, so
You know what I think? I
troublesome.
think that Lee Sin should have given the golems
Yeah, you're
to
right.
them to get like a good start. But unfortunately now this is gonna put them in a little bit of a weird spot. They're gonna have to sustain a lot because Lucian's like really hard to play against. And like, look, they're already taking like way too much damage. Tom Kench in the top lane. Gnar is just gonna win that matchup, I think, unless Tom Kench can somehow. I don't know. What do you think about that top
Yeah,
lane
like
matchup?
like Tom Kench is just gonna take so much damage just even trying to walk up to Nar, and then by the time you actually do get to him, Nar can just turn on you and
Yeah.
just like that.
Ooh. I don't know. This is already looking a little bit rough. Ooh. Soeng going in on the Rengar. The stun does come out onto
Yeah.
Leona, but not really a whole lot's going to come of it. They're just kind of poking around. It's just like, if Hallucinateer picked anybody else but Rengar, we might see a different lane.
Um, yeah, but I do think Lee Sin does out jungle Rek'Sai early. There's hope in that. Um, he could try to snowball to Tom Kench if he does manage to get the eat off or something like that.
Mm.
Or the bot lane once they hit level 6. Like if they can rush level 6 before the Janna does and then gank right before they can get their ult or anything, they have a chance there. They just spend all their resources
I'm
going.
actually really confused. Rek'Sai has blue, but has not taken red. I'm not exactly sure what he did. Ooh, but it looks like you have to put that on pause. A little bit of trouble for Gnar. Manages to flash the Q, but they're going to continue the chase. Ooh, the flash from Tom Kench. In the middle lane, we do have Rek'Sai trying to gank onto Corki, but going to Valkyrie out of the way. Flash burned for both top laners, so I wouldn't say that that's entirely worth it.
Yeah, like Lee Sin Lee Sin doesn't actually check the red buff, so um, even though he knows that Rek'Sai ganked with only blue buff, I mean, he could have invaded that. He goes for
Oh,
the gank.
beautiful Q coming out from Lee Sin, but will that be enough? Rek'Sai's going to make her way to the mid lane, but not going to be a whole lot. I really like the vision that Red Team have set up across the river. They're going to be able to see if Lee Sin pokes his head through any small crevices or tries to make his way to any lanes, but it looks like he's heading down to that bot lane to give him a little bit of relief.
Yeah, Rek'Sai's definitely playing the vision game here. He wants to be supportive of his teammates. He's getting, instead of going for both of his buffs, actually, he went for both of the Scuttle Crabs. He understands that the only way for blue team to win is by creating like an early lead and then snowballing it from there.
Currently, that's what Lee Sin's trying to do, but it's a little bit difficult with this bot lane. You might need to come back around level 6, but that's even if they last that long. They're currently low HP. They don't have any pots to sustain. Relic Shield's not going to be doing a whole lot, but we'll have to see how the bot lane survives. So far, Lucio, I mean, he's keeping up in CS, which is actually super stunning, in my opinion, for a melee player. But we'll have to see. Currently, I think both teams are going to be in a little bit of a slow spot. One thing that I was talking about in an earlier game is the fact that I don't like seeing a Lee Sin start ganking at level 6. I know he already did 2 ganks, 3 ganks actually. So Fadeaway is playing like Lee Sin should,
Yeah.
but I just think that he could be applying a little bit more pressure.
Yeah, he definitely could have made Rek'Sai lose something because he ganked mid knowing that he only had the blue buff. He could have stolen his red buff actually,
Yeah.
and then used that red buff to actually help get more early ganks off. But he did get Nar's flash, and he made Lux recall.
It's true. It's true. In the top lane, Nike Duff tangoing with the Gnar there, but looks like he's going to have his W off cooldown soon, but tanked way too many turret shots. First blood going over to double vision, and that's just
poorly,
poor execution.
yeah, just it wasn't calculated properly. It was like really close. Nar didn't have flash either, but
Oh, well, that's a little awkward. Finding Fadeaway finds Rek'Sai in the jungle. They do manage to fight a little bit. Insert name here going to come to support his jungler, but Corki just poking around as well. You know, one thing that I have to mention is that Victor had the highest damage in the game last time he played, which was the Corki. Corki played Victor last game. They still lost, but Victor still had the highest amount of damage. However, I don't think Corki can put out the same amount of numbers as Victor can. And it's just Victor has a lot more reliable damage, whereas Corki has sustained damage over time by poking, right?
yeah.
So it might be tough for him to carry this one. especially against being camped in the mid lane. It looks like Rek'Sai's made 2 or 3 appearances in the mid lane now. So
Yeah, and that's another thing. See, if Corki ever gets picked out, like like all eyes on Corki right now, because if Corki ever gets picked out, then blue team has no wave clear at all to like protect against sieges, and red team can just keep like throwing down everything like Lucian ults, Lux ults, Lux binding, then her E.
ooh, here we go. Engage in the ball lane. Here comes Rek'Sai. Gets the knockup onto both of them. That's a little bit of a mistake. Nara gets bites off a little bit more than he can chew. And Govlove going to be taken off double kill going over to Lucian. But here comes Lee Sin in the top lane, looking like they're going to turn their attention to that Nara, but manages to get away. Q does not land. His body's telling him no.
Yeah, I think Lee Sin does understand that the best lane to gank is blue, because right now their ball lane is just getting poked down, and even if he did gank, they just get triple killed. But Tom Kench is like kind of handling himself decently
Yeah.
versus the Gnar, and he has a very potent slow on his Q. Corki has no CC for Lee Sin to follow up on until Lee Sin hits level 6.
Now, the vision game has kind of improved a little bit for the blue team. Ooh, here comes Corki with the Valkyrie. Looks like they're gonna turn their attention to this Gnar, but he gets the double stun. Phantom picks that one up clean and clear, and Rek'Sai and Lux are making their way to the top lane. Hopefully, they just back off, because this is not a fight that they really want to take. They do see Corki running through the river. And this bot lane has been surviving fairly decently. However, Lucian does have a 2-kill lead currently on Rengar. But I mean, Rengar's really ability here needs to be to roam at level 6, right? He needs to have this presence. And he did last time. As Udyr, he ganked mid lane fairly often. Ooh, he looks like he's going to try to do something, but bites off a little bit more than he can chew. And Govlove in a little bit of trouble, having to flash out. Sowing gets a little bit aggressive and goes in, and the shield gonna allow him to take a couple of turret shots. Double kill going over to Lucian. In the mid lane, Flash comes out onto Phantom. The knockup connects, and Phantom gonna get, flashes the Lux ultimate and gets out safely.
I think, like, with the kill lead and a little bit of CS lead that Corki has, Rengar should be trying to roam mid and try to snowball Corki and Tom Kench, perhaps.
Ooh, Snare does connect, but I think that TP was a little bit wasteful. I mean, it was to a turret, sure, but Dragon going to go over to red side. Free objective with Corki being out of commission, not being able to poke down from the outside. But dragons don't really mean much anyways anymore, so it's just kind of like, do I get a wave of minions or dragon? I mean, they're both equal.
A really good call by red team to start the dragon, because they know that Rengar just uses flash. And he didn't have ult up at the time. No, he did have ult up at the time, but they were still too weak to be able to contest dragon, since Corki just went back. And Corki used his flash as well.
One thing that we do have to note is kind of how the vision is being set up by both of these teams. As we see Rek'Sai and Lux have set up vision on the southeastern side. They've got, pink wards, and InsertNameHere seems to hover to that side as well. Whereas Corki set up pink wards with his team on the northwestern side, because Lee Sin and Tom Kench kind of frequent that area anyways. So it's really interesting to see what sides they prefer. Top lane scuffle. Double vision getting the better half of Tom Kench, but the Q does connect. Fade away not going to connect with that one. Rek'Sai making her way to the top lane. Double vision gets the ultimate onto Gnar, but the Gnar gets bitten out. The kick does connect. Going to connect it with the Q, but it actually does miss just by a little bit. Fade away. Going to need Safeguard to get out of there, but uses Safeguard on himself, actually. They try to turn it around. Gets the kill onto Double Vision. Nike Duff going to try to walk around. Lux making her way up the river, but oh, baby, that's beautiful, but the ultimate does connect, almost taking down, but here comes Phantom, hoping to get a double kill, maybe on Rek'Sai, but Rek'Sai manages to make away. That was a great fight for blue team. I like the way they used the vision in the bush to kind of stay alive, and Lee Sin was able to really pick up that kill.
Definitely. It was definitely a really close battle there. It looks like Lux was just taking a lot of free damage. He just had like her eyes set on the ult, but she didn't realize that she was getting poked by Corki in the back. Uh, so she traded her life there, and Corki is pretty fed now. He's 10 CS up with 2 kills. Um, I think Blue Team's best bet is just trying to snowball the Corki at this point.
It's true.
Tom Kench does have his ultimate, so he can try to roam there, and Lux doesn't really have any escapes. Rengar could also ultimate as well.
Okay, now since we're looking at, you know, Corky as the breadwinner of the family here, really bringing in most of the income for the Blue family. What does... Oh, I'm going to have to put that on pause. Abarasi coming in red hot. Valkyrie straight into a wall. Here comes tons of damage, but Barrier actually being used by iPhantom. And they're not going to be able to turn this around because the Lux ultimate was just way too much. But Juke City is iPhantom's residence as he dodges the Lux ability, but Insert Name here picks that one up as Lucian makes his way to the mid lane. This is going to be a free turret, pretty much for red team. Rengar is trying to flank. I don't know if that's really going to work out. Ultimate has been popped. The pink ward comes out. Look at that. Beautiful. Huge ultimate comes out from Leona, but it's not going to be enough. Soeng is unstoppable. Turns his attention to Govlove. But here comes the connection with Fadeaway. Gets the pick up onto Janna. And currently a 1-for-1 in that mid lane, but the turret will fall. I was going to ask... oh my god, that fighting never stops. Nike Dove going to get taken away by Double Vision. Great dive from Gnar, knowing his capabilities. But I was going to ask, what if Corki is going to have to be, you know, keeping this team in line and keeping them alive in this game? What does he need to itemize effectively? He has to. Every purchase needs to be the best purchase.
Like, it's unfortunate that with the lead that Corki has, everyone on the red team can just roam to mid because every other lane has no pressure. But you'll never see blue team's bot lane, that's Rengar and Leona, ever push out besides bot. So what red team can just do is just like push it to tower and then roam mid and then not let Corki get out of hand. Yeah, but what Corki needs to do is just like he needs to just get an amazing package or something like that. Like red team needs to fight at a huge disadvantage. Like maybe they can attempt to start a Baron and then fight on that, and Corki can try to trap them in a Baron pit or something like that. And that's like, yeah.
What does he need to build to prioritize the win? He's building Trinity Force now. I don't know if I would have built Trinity Force.
Like he'd probably have to get like some insane like super damage items to make use of his lead, to be honest. Like maybe even Infinity Edge. Infinity Edge Essence Reaver, I think.
Here we go. Tom Kench gets taken down with the turret. Fade away alone in a 3v1 situation. Not sure what happened there, but the ult gonna get picked that one out. Insert name here, looking for kills.
Yeah, and blue team has really no way besides Corki to push waves fast either. Like they might not even get a tower this game, to be honest with you, unless like. Yeah, I don't even think blue team is gonna get one tower, to be honest. Their siege is really bad, besides Corki, but I mean like their front line is really strong.
But the front line can't even get there with Janna. Yeah. That's really the bread and butter of the situation. Blue buff has spawned, but they didn't really
it's
notice
just red
that.
team playing their comp really well. Like they chose their champions really well to counter blue team. And from what I've seen, InsertNameHere is a really good strategist. Like he definitely knows like the mindsets and how to play around and how to counter these other players. He's been at a lot of these turns. I think he's been at every one of them actually. He's a veteran, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely, and he's one of Toronto's best. And that's why he was on the captain draft, and I think he picked his team very, very, very effectively because nobody seems to be lacking any particular. His ADC is phenomenal, and nobody really seems to be lacking any ability. Really, I think it's their weakest player might be Gnar, because, but even so, Gnar has been playing out of his mind. So I think one thing that we mentioned here at the Solo Queue Legends casting desk is how sometimes unskilled players become challenger in their own way. Whether it's the coaching, whether it's insert name here giving like great pointers or like come on guys we need a group, like whatever the case is. Sometimes these players just become diamonds in the rough, and it's really impressive to see, especially with this game closing out already, 17 minutes in.
Yeah,
Um,
you're seeing their sieging potential just come into fruition right here. Like honestly, the only thing that they can do is just shoot corky rockets, and like Lee Sin Q here and there.
oh,
They're trying to go for it.
here we have an
Oh,
engage
that is
Phantom.
not the.
Oh, huge ultimate comes out from Leona. The Q does connect, and they're going to get the shutdown onto Lucy, and they're going to focus their attention onto the back line. Rek'Sai gets absolutely decimated, but the huge ultimate is going to pick up a couple of members. Phantom falling dangerously low. Insert name here is going to pick that one up. Double kill. Govlove in a little bit of trouble by the Gnar, and one more office box will do it, but unfortunately not going to be able to get that. And great fight initiated by the blue team, but with Gnar, that was phenomenal. Gnar came in like passived up. He came in huge, and he used his ultimate right away. That was the key. If Gnar came in with his bar at an all-time low, that fight might have been different. But I mean, also we have to point out that insert name here landed a 4-person ultimate. So
Yeah, it was looking really good for Corky, and a good thing about why he's ahead right now is because since his team is like almost entirely. Oh, we got
fade
it.
away in a little bit of trouble, biting off a little bit more than he can chew. Connects the Q, but Lux will pick him up, and Nike Duff doing what he can onto Janna there. Monsoon comes out. Nike Duff in the worst half of the fight. Phantom doing exactly what he can to continue the damage. Nike Duff is has taken away the Janna, but they're going to continue the fight. Gnar jumps in with no rage bar, biting off a little bit more than he can chew. Phantom getting he's just going in and out and in and out, but here comes Rengar. Gets the shutdown onto Lux. Lots of damage. Barrier comes out, trying to get the kill onto Gnar, but it's not going to be enough, and gets jumped on,
Like
absolutely styled on. Nike's on Rengar's face, just pub stomped into the ground. But I hope you see what I mean when this team is annoying. This blue team plays very annoying. They're not letting this red team close it out, even though they're incredibly behind. 10k gold deficit, 6 turrets down, 2 dragons, and they're still playing annoying.
They're definitely not going down without a fight. That fight we saw earlier at mid, it was kind of weird. I think Corky thought that he had his package up, but then he just ended up Valkyring into the entire team.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's fortunate here is, I think Corky, I hope what he's going with that Vampire Scepter is he's going for the Blade of the Ruin King. I think it's a really wise decision because basically what Corky needs to be able to do is chop down the enemy front line before they can chop down his front line. And that's like the, yeah, that's basically how they want to play it here. That's how you can push Corky's lead.
And you can tell he's a good player because he always has the highest CS. He always has a great KDA. He's always just playing really, really safe, but also really, really efficient. You know, and here we have the team doing what they can. Corky's not there. Neither is Lucian. This is a little bit tough. Here comes Gnar from the north side. They're going to try to focus their attention onto Gnar, but here comes Lux. Huge ultimate. The ultimate from Leona as well, going to stun a lot of members of the fight. Govlove taken away by Soang, but Tahm Kench in a little bit of trouble. Ultimate, he's almost alive, but the Prey Seeker not going to connect either. Phantom doing what he can to poke down, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough. He is doing a lot of damage to that back line, but he's kind of alone in this fight. He can't really do a whole lot. Soang in a little bit of trouble there, almost being taken down. But here comes the connection from Lee Sin. Ooh, these fights just keep going in and out, but that's kind of like, Tahm Kench with the pincer. Here comes Corky. They're doing what they can to the back line, but they're kind of just retreating right now, trying to not let the front line get to them. But Lee Sin keeps going, and you know, nothing really came of that fight. Nothing really. I thought that they had something there, but maybe they would have had something there if Corky had the package. He would have had greater distance to travel. But
Well, Corky's poke himself. Yeah, so he's going for the Blade of Ruin King. Corky's poke by himself right there just pressured them enough to like just back off and bought blue team a little bit more time. And maybe is like this with their mid inhibitor down, actually it would help them catch up. I'd say like one inhibitor down actually isn't always a bad thing. I don't think that red team is going to try to Baron anytime soon. I think that if you fight in a really close quarters like that, blue team definitely like like I said, that Corki package, that's one of their win conditions. They could pull something out there.
Hmm. Now we are heading into a pause. I'm not exactly sure what the reason is, but might be a washroom break. Tiers fully stacked. So far, this game has been relatively slow, but the way that this blue team plays is they make a lot of mistakes in the early stages of the game. They kind of give themselves a handicap.
You can see that they're like with that Tom Kench trying to teleport to the back. They're trying to desperately fight. Um,
And that's fine.
yeah,
That's absolutely fine because that's one of their win conditions, right? They have
yeah,
to flank with Rengar, with Tom Kench, with Lee Sin. Whoever's making the shot calls on their team is doing a decent job.
definitely. Lee Sin does have a kick where he can like kick away Nar right before he tries to ult or like something like that. It looks like they're um, like if they can get Janna insta-gived before like Janna Lux insta-gived with like Lux combo, Corki like I think Corki does have enough burst to actually like if you Q ult auto attack a couple times, they'll be dead before they can get out of the Leona stun. Um, and yeah, I'm seeing like Lux and Lucian play very far ahead. I mean, not play very far ahead. Like they are far ahead, but they're playing like like at the front of the team as well.
Yeah, which is not beneficial to their win condition because they need Gnar and Rek'Sai to tank a lot of the damage. Unfortunately for their team though, Gnar's not that tanky. He's got Black Cleaver, but it's not a lot, right? The only tanky person on red side is really Rek'Sai. Whereas the blue team, Lee Sin's got Hex Drinker, Leona's got tanky items, and Tom Kench has tanky items. And that was the problem last time. The blue team just started to get tankier and tankier and tankier, and that's why they were so annoying because you couldn't kill them.
It's really interesting here that Lee Sin is going for the for like a super glass cannon build. I guess what he's trying to do is just get in like one amazing ult, and that'll just win him the game, hopefully. And it's interesting that Nar actually has a Black Cleaver and a Phage. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not.
Mm.
But maybe he thinks it'll help him
Ooh,
kite.
we have a fight in the river. We are back in the game, ladies and gentlemen. Abrasi biting off a little bit too much. Ult does miss. Premature, but Corki in the mid lane. Ooh, having to use his package. That's rough. That's not going to be up for a little while. Lee Sin actually gets absolutely melted, but uses his safeguard to get over the wall. Ooh, Static Shiv doing a little bit of damage. Phantom doing what he can. This time biting off a little bit too much. Getting taken away by Soeng. Govlove being the object of their affection. InsertNameHere picks up Lee Sin on the way out. And I think this is the game over here.
Yeah,
There was fights everywhere, and they were all split up. And even if Tom Kench gets this kill, it's not going to be enough for them to win. Red
like
team's pushing down the mid lane.
yeah. Looks like Nike will just have to be satisfied with a kill on Rengar this game, unless
No, absolutely. They knew. They knew. I'm pretty sure InsertNameHere was like, everybody buy pink wards. We want to see this guy, and they were always ready. They were always ready for this guy. It was tough. It was tough. I think blue team was just trying to have fun. Oh, that was close. Fadeaway tries to get the Lee Sin special, but it wasn't quite calculated. Phantom trying to take down Sowing, but it's not going to be enough. The turret will take him down. Nike Duff in a little bit of trouble. Abrasi with the double kill, cleaning that one up nice and simple. They are going to try to take down the second Nexus turret. Abrasi going back in with the flash. The ultimate does connect onto InsertNameHere and Rengar back up again. The TP comes out from Gnar. They're just going to continue this fight non-stop. What's he doing? What's he doing? They're really, like you said, they're fighting for their life.
they're not going down without a fight.
This game just never seems to end. It just never seems to end. Here's the ultimate from InsertNameHere. Picks up the kill onto Leona. Lee Sin still wants him. Still wants him. Finally gets him. Shut down, going over to Corki. Wrong way. That's not where rockets go. Phantom's doing as much damage as he can to the front line to try to get them off the Nexus, but Phantom is a little bit of trouble, getting poked out by the Gnar. And it's crazy. It's crazy. What's going on here? Double vision getting taken out by Phantom. He's going to probably continue to chase onto Rek'Sai, but there's the tunnel. There he's out. But here comes the tunnel from Tom Kench as well. Oof, those tunnel networks are just doing work for Bracy, and he gets out.
You know,
She or he gets
maybe
out.
this could be a strategy for blue team where they just try to let him have everything, and then when all the minions start flooding their base,
They
they're
farm
trying
up,
to get
yeah?
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, they farm up, right?
Relatively, it's a really good captain like calling what the comp should be like. I'm assuming it's from Abel, which is insert name here. Yeah, just the thing is like when they not only like they think like sometimes blue team thinks they have a pick, but then there's the Lux and Janna shield and then like and Janna ult on top of that. I mean Nike Duff does have pressure, like he can 1v1 Gnar now from what we've seen. Yeah, but pretty unlucky game here. Actually, they could be going for a Baron throw. Actually, this is their chance. Actually,
if Fade Away gets caught out, he's being pincered in right now. But Phantom's got his own little pincer movement. Lucian comes in from the north side. Ooh, this is going to be a little bit of a tough fight. Nike Duff at the front of it. A huge Monsoon separating him from the fight. They are going to continue to chase. He uses his bubble to sustain a lot of the damage, but Sowing going to continue to chase. Here comes the interrupting Leona E, but it's just not enough. Phantom's doing whatever he can with the damage to the Lucian in the back line, but it's not going to be enough. Hallucinateer taking a bulk of the damage. Here comes the wham bams. Thank you, ma'am. Leona Lux ult does miss, but picks him up. Shut down. Clean and clear, just like the facial soap. And they're going to be knocking down this Nexus. It was only a matter of time, but I love seeing this blue team play so valiantly. It was a stomp, but like insert name here was just tapping them with his feet. He wasn't like full force. He was just like tip tap. But overall, I gotta say, really enjoyable game to watch. Both teams did very well for themselves, and as we can see, Corki doing a bulk of the damage.
yeah.
Obviously, Lucian was so far ahead earlier on, so he like no doubt that he's at the top of the standings. But overall, fun game.
Yeah, Corki definitely had a lot of damage split across the map everywhere. He took the pressure off a lot of objectives. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. I think if they went with an 80 carry, it might have been better, but you never know. Like sometimes these champions that you pick in these situations where no one's expecting, like a Rengar 80 carry, sometimes they actually work. Like I've seen stuff like that work before.
I think they would have been better with a Xin Zhao. Like I mean, if you're gonna
Yeah.
go with like some funky bot lane, Xin Zhao over Rengar any day of the week. But yeah, that's gonna be it for us here at the caster desk. I think we have 2 or 3 more group stage games. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.